Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today, I'm here with JV again, but this time there'll be a twist. He decided to take up a task and decide to teach all of us what is HTML and FTP. So I guess you can all sit down and listen to JV teach us more about HTML. Okay, sure. Now I'll pass it over to JV from the start his screen share.
Okay, thanks, Isaiah.
Okay. I'll give him a moment. Okay, so as you can see here, we have his very nicely made slides in PowerPoint. And he needs to present them. Okay, great. Okay.
Okay,
And
this is the basics of HTML. It's presented by me, Javier, and shown by Isaiah.
yes.
Okay, the contents of this slideshow will be, firstly, you must know what is HTML. Then once I finish that, I'll introduce a bit on FTP and HTTP. Later on, I'll elaborate more on them. Then later on, there's file names and extensions. I'm not sure if I spelled the extensions correctly.
Yeah, you spelled it
Correct
correctly.
me if I'm wrong,
Okay.
but I'll continue, okay?
Yeah.
Basic headings that appear in all HTML files. And lastly, software you can use for self-practice on HTML. So you can try your own to make your own publishing. Okay, firstly, what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. The caps lock stands for the acronym HTML. It is used for web publishing. So most websites is actually written using HTML. And all web pages are constructed using HTML markup tags, which I will elaborate later. These tags help the browsers to define the structure and layout of the page. So the very long code will actually produce the end result, which is the websites you commonly see in Google. Actually, behind those websites you see with all its pretty pictures and stuff, behind it is probably very, very long lines of code. Most for websites is HTML. There's actually a lot of coding languages. HTML is not really a coding language, it's more of a formatting language. What does markup mean? Markup means to highlight. Mark the sections of the contents. It's important to know that markup always has a start point and an end point. So since it means highlight, it means you need to highlight from one point to another point. It's like in a comprehension passage, you want to highlight a sentence. The sentence has an ending, right, which is at the full stop or the punctuation or wherever you want to stop highlighting. There's a point where you start highlighting and you stop highlighting. It's similar in this case.
Okay, let me add this in. For example, when you end the point, it's as like how when you end a sentence, you always need a full stop. For the end point, you also need a backslash.
Yeah, Isaiah, I'm the backslash, I'm probably gonna mention it later.
Okay, I guess.
The terminology of HTML. FTP and HTTP. The client asks for the contents and the server serves the contents. So HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. The client uses HTTP to make requests, and the server sends back various kinds of data via HTTP responses. So when you go onto websites, most of the websites will have HTTP with a colon and 2 slashes or HTTPS. So this is actually a request to the server. So the server will send back data, which is the website the contents inside the website which you see. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. So clients can store their files on servers by transferring their files via FTP. So they can send their saved file in their computer to another computer using that computer's how to say that, kind of like the address.
It's like using the IP address, so that way
Yeah,
you can
something like
connect
that.
directly to it. Yeah.
Each file on the server may be accessed on the internet via a URL, which is the link you see most of the time. Is the full name is Uniform Resource Locator. Commonly used FTP software, got FileZilla, you got WinSCP, you got Commander One Pro, and there are a lot actually. You can go search it up yourself. But I think all of them work. So now moving on to the file names and extensions. What does a file extension do? It labels a file. It helps the computer's operating system, the OS, identify the nature of the file. So the computer's operating system can sort the file out. Like when you go to desktop, you commonly see your file has an icon. So it's labeled, the file has a label behind it, which is the file extension. So the computer knows that it belongs here. Like for example, a PDF file, there's going to be a .pdf or something to that effect at the back. And then, yeah, so the computer knows where to put the file exactly. An example will be here, the image.jpg. Image is the file name. The dot is the period, but it's usually called a dot. And JPG is the file extension. Commonly used file extensions, you can read them yourself, it's over here. I'm pretty sure you've seen at least some of them before. IP address, Isaiah mentioned it earlier. This is a more detailed explanation on what it is. I'll give you about 5 to 10 seconds to read it. Okay, you can always pause the video if you want to continue reading, if you haven't finished reading, okay? Okay, basic HTML tags. HTML defines the entire document in the file. So on top of a HTML document, you must have a HTML at the top. And at the bottom, I wrote, there must be an ending. So at the bottom, there must be a slash HTML. The slash signifies an ending. So there must be a starting and an ending, similar to the markup. Head is the invisible part that holds scripts and styles. Most of the time, there's is just head and slash head. There's usually no content in between them. But body, the section that appears in the browser, all the paragraphs, pictures are all between the body and the slash body. Essential HTML structure, it follows this pattern. First is HTML, head, slash head, body, whatever content there is in the browser, slash body, and lastly slash HTML to end the whole code. Things to take note. Both the head and the body tags are within the HTML tags. So the HTML tag, the starting one, will always be above the head and the body. As for the slash HTML, it's always below the slash head, the slash and the slash body. The head tag precedes the body tag. So that means on top the starting head is always above the starting body. It's similar, you can compare that to a human anatomy. The body, your head is above your body, right? Your body is not above your head. So it's similar to what's happening here. Layout HTML tags. Sometimes you need this, actually quite often. H1 defines the main heading of the page. H2 are the subheadings or headings below the main heading. H3 are even smaller headings. P represents the paragraphs. So all the words you want to type will be in between P and /P. HR is horizontal ruler line. So if you put a HR in the website, there will actually be a line separating the paragraphs. You can choose to put this, but most of the time people use this. Actually, other HTML tags. I won't go through them today, maybe next time, because today I'm covering most of the basics. Software you can use for self-practice. So for Windows and most users, you can use Notepad. For Mac, I'm sorry, it's not this is it's supposed to be separated. It's text edit actually. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's called text edit. So that's all for today. Yeah, okay.
At this point, I'm gonna.
Thanks for listening to my presentation.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I'm just gonna.
Subscribe to
I'm just
Tech.
gonna add on for this
Don't
part.
destroy your devices.
If you want to edit on Mac OS, you can also use Visual Studio Code, which is also available on Windows. And if not, there's always Visual Studio Community Edition. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.